If there's one thing silver likes doing, it's making big moves. And we can see that just looking at the charts. So if you look at the end of May when it was sitting at 32.98, just under 33, and then it went all the way up to 38, even $39 an ounce. And now recently, these last couple of days, we have seen it retrace a little bit. And you can see that right here on SD Bullion's website. If we look at this 1 week chart, we go from 39.05 on July 24th, that is just 1 week ago, to today on July 31st, sitting at 36.79. And it took a big hit yesterday, 38.18 to 37.12. But also earlier in the week, we went from 39.05 on Thursday to 38.17. So we've had basically dollar an ounce drops in just 1 week's time. Now on Tuesday of this week, I was actually sitting in a coin shop the entire day, and I got to talk to customers, watch the interactions, and see the silver coming in and going out, as well as gold, by the way. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on those videos. But today, we are going to have two different coin dealers right here on this show telling us exactly what went down in their shop after this most recent drop. Were people excited and coming in and buying, or were they freaking out and getting rid of their silver before it goes down even more? So let's be joined by both Mike from Mid-America Coins and then later Keith from the Coin Crew and find out what's going on. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are joined by Mike from Mid-America Coins. And Mike, I want to jump right into it. Yesterday we saw a massive silver pullback with the announcement that there will be no new rate cuts, which I think everyone was expecting. And that pullback is continuing today with silver being at under $37 an ounce. Do you think this is going to keep going down, or what's going on?
Well, I really don't know. I mean, it was kind of a weird the way it did. I was talking to you earlier about, I was on the phone with one of my foundry companies yesterday. I was getting ready to put in a big order because I need a little bit more silver. And I don't know, my gut just told me, well, wait a minute. And I decided to look at spot while he was talking, and it dropped 20 cents while I was on the phone. At that point, I asked him, I said, do you mind if I just wait a minute? I'll call you tomorrow and I'll put my order in. I am going to order some silver, but you know, I'm going to wait and see how it rides out. I mean, I'm not out, but I don't like being low. So that's why I was getting ready to order. At one point, if you remember a month or two ago, I was way over what I normally stock. But now we're moving through some silver. But at this point here, we had nobody come in yesterday. And it's kind of weird to buy any silver. They weren't even selling me silver. So it's kind of weird what just happened.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, I was actually in your shop on Tuesday. I haven't posted one of those videos yet, but they will be up soon. But anyway, when I was there, I saw a lot of people coming in and selling silver. There wasn't really anyone buying. It wasn't until the end of the day that someone actually came in and bought a couple of tubes of silver. So are you saying...
actually, no, that customer bought gold, but yes.
No. At the end, someone did come in and buy silver.
We did sell a couple. You're right. We did sell a couple of rolls of silver too. But as a rule, like on that day, that's usually what's happened to us. We're buying more than we're selling right now.
Right. But you had to order silver, so you've been selling more then?
I have been. The orders have picked up. I mean, last week on that 39 number, some of the people said they was listening to some analysts online. I'm not an analyst, but I felt like they could be right. They was talking 41 to 45, and so they was jumping in on that 39 number.
Yeah, Mike, actually, I want to talk about that a little bit because I would not want to be one of the analysts, that get in front of a camera and say, silver's going to go to 41 or 42. There's a reason I don't predict spot price, because I don't want it to influence people to go out and buy silver because they think the price is going to go up. And I think this reaction yesterday, there was a Fed rate cut announcement. They didn't make any rate cuts. And I think some people were expecting that there actually to be rate cuts. So I think this is kind of a reaction.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
they were expecting. There was people out there expecting some rate cuts, and we didn't get none yesterday.
So then that clearly affected silver. Do you think silver is going to be looking weak until maybe the next announcement?
Like I said, I'm not an analyst. I don't have a crystal ball. There's a good chance. There is a good chance it could weaken a little more. But guys, I'm not telling you to buy or sell. I did that a few weeks ago, and if you remember on Coin Crew, I went back and retracted and apologized. Unfortunately, these analysts that put this out, when they're wrong, they will not come on and apologize. They just move on and start pumping more information out. So just like what happened to me yesterday, and this is what I said last week, go with your gut. My gut told me, wait a minute, and I listened to it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, people should listen to their gut and not the people online, and that includes, YouTubers like myself. That includes analysts that you see on Kitco. I've said this 100 times that a broken clock's right twice a day, right? And so every once in a while, they're going to sound really smart, and it's like, they're going to say, "Oh, well, silver because of this and this and this is going to 42." And every once in a while, they'll be right, but more often than not, it seems to me that they're wrong, which is why, Mike, I argue on stacking silver on a fundamental basis, for reasons that I've talked about many, many times on this channel that I don't want to dig in too deeply here. But, obviously, as a long-term hold, as a hedge against inflation, as a way to get your money out of the US dollar and into a physical asset that you have that you hold, that's the main reasons to buy silver. I think that if people are buying silver with the intent to make money, there's just better avenues to do that. Would you agree?
I do agree. This is a long term, not a short term when you're stacking silver. And it is to hedge against inflation and so on and so forth. A lot of people use 401ks and stuff. They're not the best anymore. But like me, I'm at retirement age. I'm glad I stacked silver and gold. I mean, and I'm glad, but I did not just put my eggs in that basket. I looked at other stuff. You and I talked a little bit about crypto. You don't trust it. I do, but I'm not playing with my own money. I did the same thing with stocks. I put money in, I built it up a little bit, pulled just my money out. Let's see where it rides. But I have that fallback, that cushion.
All right, so before we get off of here, because I know we've been talking for a little bit now, and you're taking your wife to breakfast, so I apologize. Sorry, Shar. My last question to you is, and this is not a prediction of spot price, but what happens with business? Will customers, if it keeps dropping, do you think people are going to sell? Are they going to take advantage of the dip and start buying? Let's say it keeps going down to 35 or, even under 35. Where do you think the market goes? Not price wise, but as far as like what the deal or the customers' reactions will be.
Well, if it continues going down, I don't see my customers bringing me in any silver to sell me. What I do see is them pulling back a little bit. And I think I talked to you the other day. I was telling you that the 90%, it done a flip, but now I don't know what's going to happen to it. I mean, people were talking about that I might have to now order it at spot. That means I was going to have to raise my price, and I told you that. So what's happening is we see this market now just took a dip. Now, do I think it might have been fudged a little bit? I don't know. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I sure do feel like it because that just slowed a lot of silver buyers down.
Gotcha. So you think if the spot price continues to drop and even gets under 35, not only will people not be selling, but people will be waiting to buy as well?
Yes, I think the real number for most people is I've heard so many people say that they'd love to see it get back underneath 30 and they would buy. The problem is if it gets down that low, you're going to see a higher premium because they got dumped on when it got up over 35 heavy. You're going to see dealers putting their premiums up higher.
Well, I tell you this, if it gets under 30, including premium, even I'll be buying. I'll probably go back to buying more than I want to.
I would be too, but I'm just saying if it gets down that low, that fast, you're going to see premiums go on silver.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
I'm talking $3 and $4 over spot.
Ooh, man, I don't want to pay that. That would be
We
brutal.
paid it before.
I know, but I didn't. When Mike, and I'll get off of here after this, when Silver Eagle premiums were pushing $20 an ounce and rounds were 6-7, it was brutal. It was hard to, buy silver because even though now it's still, we would have been okay, I guess, on rounds, not on Eagles. It's still hard to swallow paying that much of a spot.
Oh yeah, I took some big heat when the numbers dropped. I had a customer call me, wanted me to buy the Eagles back for what he paid. He hounded me until I ordered a brand new box of Eagles for 15 over. And a month and a half later, we hit January, the new ones came out. Premiums dropped to $4.50 over spot.
Yeah.
And he was upset. He said, "You should have told me to wait." The problem is I can lead a horse to water, can't make him drink it. I did ask him to wait, and he said, no, I think it's going higher. And it did go a couple more bucks.
Gotcha.
But at the same time, I knew the premium was going to drop off eventually, and that's what happened.
Fair enough. All right, Mike. Well, listen, I appreciate you joining me. I'll let you take Shar out to breakfast, so enjoy that. Guys, Mike has his own coin shop, Mid America Coins. He also has a YouTube channel. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to that, definitely do. He gives updates here and there, and definitely a good channel to be subscribed to, so go check him out. Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you. And we will be getting some videos out probably tomorrow. I'll be doing one.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right, stay tuned. Thank you.
Bye.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, guys, now we're going to be joined by Keith from Coin Crew. He is also a coin shop owner out of Muskegon, Michigan. Keith, here's a question. So I was just talking to Mike about, silver price yesterday, and he said it was dead in his store. What was it like in your store yesterday with the price drop?
I think I could honestly say it was deader than dead. People are just a little timid about what's it's going to do.
What it's going to do. So yesterday it took a pretty big dip. It was down quite a bit this morning. Right now it's sitting at 36.54. It is currently 8:38 on July 31st, just so you guys know, Central Standard Time. Do you think that people are waiting to see what happens with silver before they buy and to sell? Or do you think if it keeps going down, like let's say it goes down to like $35 an ounce, do you think people will take this opportunity to buy, or will they get out before it goes farther if they think that's going to happen?
Well, it's kind of a combination because some people are in it at a great price and some people are in it high that didn't offload when it was up over 39. So yeah, some might get out, but then again, some may figure it as a buying opportunity. I would think so anyway.
Do you look at it as a buying opportunity?
Oh yes. Every time it has a recess in price, yeah, that's definitely a buying opportunity.
Okay. All right. So Mike was actually telling me that he was on the phone with his vendor. I don't know which one. He didn't say, and that's fine. But he was on the phone, and while he was on the phone, it dropped 20 cents. And then he actually told him, hey, I'm going to wait and see what happens. And so obviously it's a good thing that he did, because if he would have ordered yesterday, he would have overpaid at this point. Are you waiting to see if it keeps going down before you jump in? Or like at what point, I guess, will you go? Will you wait till it just like stabilizes or what?
Well, I have enough silver on hand, so I'm not in a rush to order. However, if it does recess back a couple more bucks, yeah, sure, I'm going to call the wholesaler, the vendor, whichever you want to call them, and I'm going to get me some more silver.
Well, the reason I use the word vendor is because I don't know if he was talking to a refinery or if he was talking to a wholesaler. I didn't know, so I don't know what company he was talking about.
Whether it's a wholesaler, somebody that sells to you, they're most commonly referred to as vendors or wholesalers, both.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So, Keith, I have a question for you, and I don't want to lead you. I'm just going to ask the question straight out. On my channel the last couple of days, it's been heavily debated the reason that people are selling and buying silver. So I'm not going to lead you by telling what the debate's been about. I just want you to straight up tell me, what do you believe that when silver was like 38, approaching 39, what do you think the primary reason that people were selling their silver was, and also holding off on buying?
I think when it was up over the $39 mark, people were selling because they thought it was near the top. I do not think 39 is near the top. However, since the recession, people were a little bit more timid.
Okay. So now that you've said that, the debate was there are a lot of people that believe that the reason so many people are selling is because they're hurting financially. And I'm not arguing that people aren't hurting financially. I guess my argument was that that's not the primary reason that people were selling silver. I think it's mostly based on interactions with coin dealers like yourself, being at coin shows, other coin shops, so on and so forth. What I've come to understand is that the majority of the people selling and even holding off on buying was because of the price. People taking profits, people thinking that it's too high to buy. Now that you've heard me say that, do you agree or do you have a differing opinion? I want to know.
I think the majority of the sellers were because the price was higher than it is at the current level. However, having said that, people are hurting for money, and the people that are actually hurting for money, they don't have as much to sell. They don't have 100 or 200 or 300 ounces like someone who's waiting for a price point.
Gotcha. So some people then are selling for that reason, but is, percentage wise, is that 20% of the people selling, or 10% or 50%? I mean,
I would say the people that are selling for financial purposes, probably more in the range of 10 to 15%.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of where I was. I've never said that it wasn't one of the reasons. I just never thought it was the primary reason.
A lot of times when people are, I guess you could say, somewhat financially secure, when the markets start going fast up or fast down, they start moving money around, whether they move it in and out of cryptocurrency, stocks, or gold and silver. It's going to happen. And I think that's what we were seeing a lot of when it was over $39.
Gotcha. So now that it's back under, it's 36.62 as I'm saying this right now. Now that it's back under 37, do you think there might be a shift?
I think there quite possibly could be a shift at this level. I think definitely if it gets down to the 36 and holds, there will definitely be a little bit more buying than selling.
Okay. Now my next question for you is, and then we'll get off of this topic. What do you think happens if we see a massive retracement of silver under $30 an ounce? Do people dump it because they're just tired of the market, or do people see that as a massive opportunity to hop back in?
There's going to be some people that are going to look at it. Wow, this is a great buy. This silver, it's on sale. There's no doubt about it. But then there are going to be people that are FOMO, and you can be FOMO when it's going down or going up. That's fear of missing out. They're going to fear that it's going to continue to drop. So they're going to dump just to get out. And most of those people at that point are going to be like, let's take whatever profits I can and cash out. And hopefully it goes down a little more so I can buy back.
Fair enough. Okay. All right, Keith. Well, that's all I had for this, but I do want to thank you guys. As I said earlier, Keith has his own coin shop in Muskegon, Michigan called Coin Zone. He has a YouTube channel called Coin Crew. I'll put a link in that for that down below, and I promise I'll do it this time because I forgot last time. But thank you for joining me, Keith. So I don't think it's all that surprising that both CoinShop owners we spoke with today said that business was really slow yesterday with the price drop. And it makes sense with the Fed announcement, with silver going down, the people that are wanting to buy, they may be saying to themselves, well, let's see how far it goes. Maybe I can get it cheaper. And those that are wanting to sell are like, well, it's eventually going to go back up, right? Maybe I'll wait. I don't know. But you know, again, not all that surprising at the end of the day. But anyway, it was interesting to hear from both Mike and Keith in the same video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know with a comment down below if you want to see more videos like this. And also, do me a favor, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps YouTube recommend this video to others, and that is like the best thing you could do for the channel. So thank you so much for doing that. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.